A leading art institute is named after her. Her paintings routinely sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. But there was a time when Emily Carr couldn't give away her paintings.
If you came to visit and she didn't like you, and she didn't like most people, she had this pulley and rope system. She would pull the rope and your chair would go up to the ceiling. You had no place to sit. In modern terms, she'd be called an eccentric nutcase. When you think of her, what's the first thing comes to your mind?
Trees.
Just trees, huh?
Trees. She paints a lot of trees.
Yes, trees, over and over and over. Weird-looking trees. Trees that never looked like this in the forest, but you either loved them or you hated them. And most hated her trees.
Well, I don't know if I really, have any thoughts about them. I just think of the image of them, I think of what they look like.
And she painted totem poles. She loved painting totem poles. She loved being around Aboriginals, even though she really didn't understand them, and they sure didn't understand her.
I don't actually know that much about her, which is funny because I go to Emily Carr, but I don't know.
They do not teach about Emily Carr in the Emily Carr School, but they do teach art to artists who think in different ways than people who are not artists, much like Emily Carr.
Oh, well, I don't know too much about her, but I've seen some stuff, and she's pretty good.
Emily Carr's thoughts were also a little difficult to follow. Her life, though, you couldn't help seeing. She was a misfit. From the time she was a little girl in Victoria at the height of the Victorian age, little girls were supposed to be sweet and nice and clean and obedient and quiet. Emily Carr rolled in the dirt, planted her tiny feet, and said no to adults. She fought authority, she was rude to those she didn't like, and she couldn't wait to get old enough to smoke cigarettes. Her family, obviously, was embarrassed by her.
I like that she was kind of a loner, She was probably a tough lady to live with. And, set in her ways. I like that.
She studied art in California and France and England. Art became her solitary life. She painted in the woods because she said she didn't want to be around people. But then after all those years of work and study and painting, Emily Carr could not sell a single painting, not in Victorian Victoria, because what the folks there wanted were prim and proper portraits of English countrysides to hang in their prim and proper parlors. Emily Carr, in her 42nd year, gave up painting, put down her brush, and that was it. She became a landlady in Victoria and entered the most depressing period of her life. She hated her tenants. No more paint came from her brush, just cleaning and cooking for people who couldn't understand or appreciate the only things she thought were beautiful. 15 years she hasn't made a painting. She is threadbare broke. When somebody putting together an art exhibit of West Coast native paintings finds one of her pictures of the totem pole, thinks it's native art, finds her, gives her a railroad pass to go to Ottawa. She takes some of her paintings. She's discovered by the group of 7. Suddenly, she's about to be famous.
Oh, just an amazing woman, really. She's just really out there, and for her time, too, just being out and an individual, and a lot of respect for her, definitely.
She spent her last years with her monkey and dogs and pet rats, and she died still boycotting a world that would not let her see life as she wanted to see it. To call her an artist is only the first step. She was a rebel against small-minded, self-righteous, self-pious, tea-addicted, socially constrained Victorians. Her brush was her sword.